Welcome back to my YouTube channel, my loves. If this is your first time tuning into one of my videos, my name is Stef and I'm the Psychic Soul Alignment Coach. What that means is that I work with spiritual people and spiritual entrepreneurs to help them to do very deep levels of healing, also known as inner work, shadow work, inner child healing, in order to assist them with peeling back all the layers of traumas, limiting beliefs, fears, and insecurities that they may have that are holding them back from being who they truly are. And as a result of just doing all this deeper healing work, letting go of all those layers, they're then able to embody more of who they are on this soul level, this higher self level, just this overall deeply spiritual level. And they're then able to create more joy and fulfillment in their life and just have much greater success with so much more ease and grace in just all areas of life. So that is how I help people. Here on my YouTube channel, I typically do videos on the subjects of mindset, manifestation, healing, spirituality, spiritual entrepreneurship, spiritual activism. I bring forward channeled messages. Sometimes I do energy readings, like my April 2021 energy reading. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, go to the card section up there afterwards to go watch that. But yeah, these are typically the subjects that I speak on. And if those things interest you, I definitely recommend that you hit that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel and hit that little bell notification button and change your settings to all when you hit that bell, so that way you're always notified of when I do upload a video, because I don't have a consistent upload schedule at the moment, and I wouldn't want you to miss out on anything that I have to share that might really greatly serve you. So if you're a returning viewer or subscriber, thanks so much for coming back. I really do appreciate you coming back to my videos and always just showing me love and support and encouragement and taking the time out of your day to listen to the insights, the experiences, the messages that I have to share with you, to just do my part to support you along your path and your journey. So it really means a lot to me. Now, my videos are typically quite long by YouTube standards. And so if you are short on time and you would rather watch this in a short amount of time, you can always use the settings option here to increase the speed of this video so that you can listen to it in the least amount of time possible for you. So today's video is going to be all on what the purpose of the spiritual path is. I don't have anything prepared, anything planned. This is just something that I've been meaning to speak on for a minute, and that came to me as I was kind of contemplating on what to speak about. So I feel like it's time to finally speak on this subject, and I really hope that you benefit from what I have to say today and just take what resonates and leave what doesn't. And yeah, let's get into this video. So what is the purpose of the spiritual path? I feel like there's so many reasons for why we're on this spiritual path. Some of us could be on the spiritual path to heal ourselves of things from this life, from past life stuff. And then there are some of us who are on the spiritual path to help not just heal ourselves, but heal, our family line, generations from the past and generations that are to come. There are those of us who are on the spiritual path to help raise our own consciousness, the consciousness of others, to help support the collective consciousness. There are those of us that are on the spiritual path to have a greater understanding of ourselves, of who we truly are and who we're not. And there are those of us who are on the spiritual path to lead us to stepping into our purpose and making a difference. There are just so many reasons for why we're on the spiritual path. But I feel like ultimately, no matter what the reason is, the end goal for all of this is really to lead us back to who we truly are on this deeper spiritual level. Okay? I feel like that's the end goal. I actually have a playlist here on my YouTube channel. It's called Connecting with Your Higher Self. If that's something that speaks to you, you can go check out the playlist here in the cards section and go through those videos and just see which one resonates with you, and allow yourself to be guided, because maybe there's a message there for you. But I feel like that's really just the reason for why we're on the spiritual path to begin with. And everyone is on the spiritual path, whether they're conscious of it or not. But those of you who are watching this video are consciously on your spiritual path. And, I'm not saying that just because you're watching my video, you're probably in contact with other people's content, books, channels, podcasts, those kinds of things. But you're consciously on this path of coming back to who you truly are, remembering who you truly are. So what does it really mean to be who you truly are? I've definitely discussed that a lot in a lot of those videos that I talked about in my playlist, Connecting to Your Higher Self. But we are divine spiritual beings, and we are powerful creators. We're infinitely abundant. We're unconditional love. And even though we are these beings that are capable of creating things and we're so abundant and stuff, I feel like what we ultimately are at our core is unconditional love. To me, from that place of unconditional love is where you're able to have or create that abundance. You're able to create things, to give life to things. You're able to do amazing things from that place of unconditional love, because it's my personal belief that we come from a source of unconditional love. And this source of unconditional love, you know, when it decided to create us, and there's some kind of ambulance going off right now because this is an important message. But pay attention, people, pay attention. The sirens are getting louder. This is Latin America. But yeah, you know, if we kind of take it back to Bible type studies, you know, I don't know a whole lot about the Bible, the basics, some things I've heard here and there throughout my lifetime. But, you know, it's like when God created the earth, or whatever you believe in terms of creation, right? This force, this consciousness, divine consciousness, like went out and created things, created all of us, created the planets, all these different things, right? Or God spread out, created things, right? And to me, God, the universe, the divine source, whatever you want to call the higher power, is the source of unconditional love. And from that unconditional love, when it spread out, that's where the abundance came from. That's where the creation came from. It's all ultimately, to me at least, unconditional love, right? That's what I've really come to understand in my journey as I've gone through different parts of my journey. Because at first, I was very much around helping people to step into their power and to recognize they can create whatever they want with their lives, and they are abundant, and helping them to work through all of these things that were hindering them from truly feeling and believing and knowing that they are powerful creators, that they are abundant, that they can create what they want. You know, that was like an initial part of my journey in my own purpose and how I helped people. But as I've gone along this path, I've really understood for myself that it's like, oh, but that's not just like it. It's really about coming back to unconditional love. And the reason that I've come to this conclusion, this understanding at this time in my journey, is because maybe if you follow me on Instagram, so I'll post the links to my social media in the comments of this video. I'll pin it so you can follow me on social media. But I talked about this a little bit in my last video on how to choose the right spiritual teacher for you. So if this is something that interests you, you're curious about that topic, you can go click on the card section afterwards to go watch that video. But in my Instagram posts lately, I've been talking about leadership, right? And in my last post is when I addressed some things from my last video on how to pick the right spiritual teacher for you. Because I've been reflecting a lot recently on my own leadership and where I was, you know, falling short of being the powerful leader that I really desire to be in my heart, and doing a lot of self-reflection, healing, soul-searching, aligning with my true values. It's just been a very interesting process the last few weeks for me, which is why I was inspired to create that video on how to pick the right spiritual teacher for you. And I've been speaking about leadership on Instagram. But as I have been reflecting recently on all of this and what I stand for, what I'm here to bring to the world, I've been feeling this deep, deep desire inside of myself to be the best, most loving leader I can be for people. And I've been feeling this pull from that desire to connect more with Jesus. And I've just been feeling Jesus calling me and wanting to be more like Jesus, and contemplating to myself, like, what would Jesus do? What would Jesus think about this? How would Jesus, you know, like show up in this? Or what would Jesus say to me? Or these kinds of things, just self-reflecting, because I haven't even really sat down yet to channel or connect with Jesus. And in this deep desire of wanting to connect with Jesus, you know, Jesus has been showing up in my life and has been bringing me forward, you know, certain insights and things. And one of those things is one of my followers actually shared with me an amazing, like, TV series, I guess you could call it. There's a car horn going off and more sirens. But it's like, stop, pay attention, this is important. For those of you maybe potentially feeling pulled to this part of the message. But a follower of mine shared with me this like new show called The Chosen, and it's all about Jesus's life. And I think the concept of how they're creating that show, like how they're bringing about the funds to create the show, is like amazing. I don't want to go too into it, but if that speaks to you, go to your apps section on your phone and look up The Chosen if you want to watch and learn about Jesus's life. But that came to me. So I've been watching the show. Sadly, I've watched all the episodes so far. I have to wait now. But I've been reflecting and contemplating on the things that I've seen of Jesus's life so far, and like my life experiences and what I feel I'm learning and all that stuff, right? And so I've been really seeing that Jesus has been really calling me to come back to love and to be unconditional love and to teach unconditional love to people. And this is something that's been part of my teachings since the beginning of my spiritual path. Well, since the beginning of being a spiritual teacher, but especially in the last year, it's really been important to really teach my clients how to come from a place of unconditional love, how to really embody that, and how to do that for myself. And my mistakes or my shortcomings the last few weeks that have had me reflecting on this whole concept of, leadership and what it really means to be a truly loving spiritual leader and how to lead in the way that I feel God is calling me to lead and so on, has really caused me to work through my own things so that I can lead with more love. I've had to recently work through some of my own spiritual ego, which I will be doing a video on soon. So if spiritual ego is a topic that interests you, if you have questions on that, let me know in the comments below. When I have that video up, I'll try to put it in the cards for you to go check out. But I had to work through some of my own spiritual ego to align with more love and to be more of this loving leader. And I continue to do so as I move forward. And so that's what I really feel is what we're on the path of at this time, is coming back to more unconditional love for ourselves and for one another, to be able to support the changes that we wish to see in the world. Because if we want to see these changes made in the most kind and gentle manner, so to speak, it's important to come from a place of love as we do it, rather than judgment and, anger or fear or control or whatever. We have to come from the space of love as we interact with one another, as we bring to one another's awareness of where we might not be showing up in the best possible way, as we interact with people in our daily lives. Like, it's about constantly being that which you wish to see in the world, which is unconditionally loving. This is what I've really come to understand in my journey, at least, is like that's all that really matters, is to really be loving to one another and kind and gentle. And I've been reflecting a lot because in addition to all of these things that I've been going through, I've also had like a tiny little mini dark night of the soul with the last full moon. I'm a very deep person. I have a Scorpio moon and death is always on my mind. Things just feel heavy to me as a Scorpion moon person. And so anyway, I've been reflecting a lot on death and listening to the accounts or the testimonies of a lot of people who have experienced near death, NDEs and stuff, and listening to them and their lessons. And all of this has really just led me to the conclusion that, at least at this time where we're at in our consciousness and what I'm here to bring forward myself, is it's not just about being a powerful creator and manifesting or creating, accumulating wealth or material things. It's not just about, just healing ourselves. It's not just about raising consciousness. It's about us really being able to embody more of who we truly are, this higher level of beingness, this higher level of consciousness, so that we're able to literally be love incarnate, if that makes sense. And being able to show up in life in this way in our interactions with ourselves and with others. Because at the end of the day, when we die, when we leave this physical playground, we leave our human vessel, that's all that really matters in the end, is how we treated ourselves, the relationship we had with ourselves and with other people. And when we haven't shown up in the highest possible way with ourselves because we judged ourselves, we criticized ourselves, we resented ourselves, or whatever it was the issue that we had with ourselves and with others, like that is what affects us when we're on the other side, right? We have certain sadness and regret around how we didn't treat one another well or ourselves. And we really feel the harmful impact that our words or our actions may have had on other people or ourselves when we're on that other side. Like we really see it for what it is, and that hurts us because that's not who we are at our core. We're unconditional love. So when we have been hurtful to ourselves or other people, that really hurts when we're on the other side and we can see that. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense, because this is just me speaking my thoughts off the cuff of a lot of different things that I've just been contemplating on the last few weeks, because that's what I do as a spiritual teacher. I'm just always sitting with myself, connecting the dots, having certain insights and breakthroughs that serve others. And so that's why I've just really come to the conclusion that yes, part of us being here is to be the powerful divine beings that we are, to remember our inherent abundance, and to connect back to source and all these other things. Like that's part of the spiritual path and the process. But ultimately, all of that is really just leading us up to being who we truly are, which is unconditional love. Because that's all that matters, is to really be that unconditional love, to be like Jesus or whatever other spiritual teachers out there that really embody this unconditional love, to really be like that. And I feel like that is why this energy of Christ consciousness is not just being felt by myself, but so many other people. I was just speaking to a past client today, catching up with them, and they were telling me that so many of the people that they follow have been channeling with Jesus or bringing Jesus' teachings forward and all this kind of stuff, because Christ consciousness is rising. I don't know a whole lot about the Bible, but in there somewhere they talk about the resurrection of Christ. And to me, that's not necessarily Jesus coming from the clouds, descending to the earth. That's that consciousness that Jesus embodied way back when is rising up here on the planet at this time through us, especially those of us that are more spiritually aware than others. And chances are, if you're watching one of my videos and you're watching this video, you're more spiritually aware than just people in general. And so that, I feel, is what's happening here, is from what I've learned so far of Jesus through watching that show, The Chosen, and just what I've learned, here and there of Jesus over the years in my lifetime. Jesus was kind of like the embodiment of unconditional love. Didn't judge anyone, no matter if they were a prostitute, no matter if they had some kind of disease, they were poor, whatever. Like, Jesus was there with like the lowest of the lowest people in civilization back in those times, and still loved them and still didn't judge them, didn't get mad at them. Well, I don't know if he didn't get mad at them or not, because I don't know about all that. I haven't read the Bible. But, he was compassionate and understanding to people in their flaws, right? In this recent episode that I watched on The Chosen, there were these two disciples who were very just arrogant and full of like prejudice and all this other stuff. And they were like getting all crazy and riled up at these people that they didn't like. And Jesus talked some sense into them and helped them to see that they were in the wrong. They were not being the truly loving, compassionate people that they had the potential to be, right? And I feel like that's what's happening at this time. I feel like we're being asked to go beyond what we know thus far in terms of the spiritual path and to really connect to the ultimate truth, which is unconditional love. So that by embodying more of that unconditional love, we're kind of able to then be like Jesus and be a physical human being, but to have the energy and the consciousness of that unconditional love vibrating through us, flowing through us, and so that we're able to literally be examples of this unconditional love as we navigate the world, we interact with others, we interact with ourselves. I feel like that is the true purpose of the spiritual path. I think it's always been that way, but it's feeling like that's more so now, like what it's really going in the direction of is coming back to love. All of us coming back to love and being able to be more Christ-like as we live in this, earth plane existence. Like we are meant to have more love for one another and extend that compassion, that courtesy, that empathy, that understanding to one another. And that's the conclusion that I've really come to in terms of like why we're on the spiritual path, because if you watch my videos on spiritual activism and spiritual bypassing, I'll put that up here in the cards as well for you to check out that playlist. But, I talk about many of my different experiences over the last year with releasing my ego, dropping out of my head and coming back down into my heart, and the universe really humbling me again and again and again to just be more loving and compassionate and empathetic for people who I feel might be doing things wrong, who are maybe not working in the highest good, who have completely different beliefs from me, or they're stubborn or whatever, and just be more love again and again. Like that's what I've just been feeling is like as I go on this journey, I just have so much more love for humanity. It just grows and grows and grows and grows inside of me. It makes my heart burst open wide. And it's the craziest thing ever. But I have friends, other psychic friends, connect with energies and things like that. And sometimes these energies bring forward like unconditional love for them. And when the unconditional love energy just comes through for them, it just like makes them cry because it's just so overwhelming and so beautiful and magnificent. And it's the same kind of thing that I hear as well from watching these videos on NDEs, near-death experiences, and people telling, their stories of how like that unconditional loving energy just flowed through them and they just felt amazing and it was beautiful and they're crying and they miss it when they come back to, the human world and they can't go to, God yet. And they come back because they're crying because they just miss that beautiful love that surrounded them. It feels different and all this other stuff. And all of that just has really helped me to start really understanding like that's who we really are. We really are this beautiful, profound, unconditional love that is just so beautiful and amazing. It brings tears to our eyes. And the more that we are able to heal, the more that we're able to release our own egos, especially those of us on the spiritual path, we have spiritual ego. We release that and we, just work through our things and elevate our consciousness to have greater compassion, empathy, understanding for one another. We're able to really connect with that unconditional love and truly feel it and truly be it in the world. And so when we think about humanity, we're able to love them more fully, more unconditionally. We're able to feel that, like I had never had so much love in my heart for humanity before. Because in the past, I used to judge humanity and all the things that they were doing wrong and that I felt they were doing wrong, and so many different things that I just like, it would piss me off because I love the planet and I want the planet and animals and people to be treated right. And when I see the opposite of that being done by humans, it just pissed me off and like made me hate humans. But as I've gone on this journey and I'm healing and stuff, like I have more and more love in my heart where I'm able to really just connect with other human beings more deeply and feel for them and meet them where they're at, understand them, and hold space for them and just love them more unconditionally. Love them so much it hurts. Not in a bad way, but it brings tears to my eyes because it's just so beautiful and I just feel it intensely in my heart. So I feel like that's the journey that we're on at this time. That's the whole purpose of the spiritual path, is really just coming back to who we truly are, which is unconditional love. And all of these different routes that we take to coming back to that truth are, going to be different from one person to the next. But that's like their ultimate purpose, is to lead you back to unconditional love. And Christ consciousness is rising at this time, and it's growing stronger. And, coming back to love is truly how we're going to make things better for one another, and really be able to truly see one another, support one another, to help bring about changes in the world in a way that's just so much more loving and for the highest good of people. And that's what I wanted to share today. These are my thoughts on the purpose of the spiritual path. I haven't channeled on this, like I said, but this is just what I've really just come to realize in my own journey, is like, that's all that matters, is coming back to love. And a lot of times we forget that because we're distracted by the human physical world, and we're distracted by achieving certain goals, getting certain outcomes, the day-to-day, whatever it is. We are distracted with our own issues. But ultimately, like, that's why we're here, is to come back to love, to be that love, to embody that love, and just be living, walking, breathing examples of what it's like to hold this higher level of consciousness and energy inside of ourselves in this human vessel, to help elevate one another, and to remind other people, like, that's what they have inside of them too. That's what they have the potential to become more of for themselves, right? So this is my my share on this, the purpose of the spiritual path. I'd love to hear from you what you feel the purpose of the spiritual path is for you, what led you to that conclusion, and just anything else you feel called to share with me at this time. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And like I said, I feel like the path to coming back to who we truly are, to this unconditional love, to this Christ consciousness, and being the physical embodiment of that love, is through our own healing. It really is through our own healing that we're able to let go of judgment, let go of fear, let go of the need to control, let go of sadness, let go of just insecurities and things that keep us really connecting more deeply with that unconditional love. As you heal, as you work through these things, you're more easily able to be that love in the world. Promise you. Like, for me, if you know my story, I had a rough childhood, and I've had a really rough journey with my family, because that is something. I came into this life with a lot of karma around, my family. And my family relationships especially have been very difficult. People hurt me a lot growing up in so many different ways. And honestly, the way to heal those relationships and to have healthier relationships with all of those people that once hurt me has only been possible through healing. Because it's been through healing that I've been able to drop my own ego, see the higher perspectives, truly feel for others, and not just be so focused on myself, and really be able to have greater love and compassion and understanding for those who hurt me. And to just really raise my consciousness in ways that have really helped me to be at peace with the past and with people who I felt mistreated me and hurt me or took advantage of me. And just really being able to just see them for who they truly are, and not judge them, and not continue to hold grudges and resentment towards them. It's been through the healing journey that I've found peace and acceptance and empathy, compassion, understanding for these people in my family. And I'm able to now have much better relationships with them. I'm able to have love for people that I hated. Because Scorpio moon here, okay, I can hold some grudges, people. And I was just a very angry little resentful person back in the day. And it's been through healing that's all transformed, and now I love my family so much more today than ever before, and I truly appreciate them. It's not enough to just have forgiven them and that's it. Like, I'm genuinely like loving people in my family and learning to love still certain people in my family that, I didn't know how I could love them. I had forgiven them, but I was like, I still don't know how to love them. But the last year especially, has really taught me and shown me how to open my heart even more and have love for these people. And it's just been through healing that I'm able to restore so many relationships and fix bridges that I thought were just totally broken. And that's just the power of the healing journey for me, and what I feel is the purpose of the healing journey as well, So it's just been amazing. It's been really amazing to be at this level now where I can truly embody more love and be an example of that. And when I look in my eyes, I love my eyes because I can see that love, that compassion, that empathy radiating through my eyes in photos and things like that. Like, I really have seen this shift. You can notice it in my energy. You can notice in the way I show up in the world, the way I speak, the way I write my content and things like that. Like, I'm a much more loving being, but that's only been possible because I've healed myself again and again. And I've been willing to do the inner work to be that, to let go of the heaviness and the darkness and the anger and frustration and judgment and whatever else, and to just come back to love again and again and again. And the more that I've done this, the easier it just becomes to just be love, without even having to think about it, without having to try as much, just being. But that's been a result of healing. That's been my journey. And I feel like, that's the spiritual journey is undoubtedly going to help you heal on, many different levels, but it's all to help you come back to love. So that, by radiating this love, you're able to help elevate the world and so many others in so many ways that you can't even begin to even really realize at this time. The impact that your loving heart has on humanity and the entire universe. So that's what I wanted to share today. I really hope that has helped you in some kind of way. My insights, my experiences, my conclusions have just, helped you in some way that you may have needed. If it has, please give this video a thumbs up, a like wherever you're watching from. Like I said, feel free to share your thoughts with me in the comments below. Whatever you feel like sharing, I'm open to hearing it. And if you would like to be supported with doing this deeper level of healing and coming back to who you truly are, embodying greater levels of love, being the change you wish to see in the world through your own deep transformation, then I encourage you to come and join me in Remembering Who You Are. It's my 12-week program that I launch once or twice a year, depending on how I'm guided to do it. And it's where I really take you through this very deep healing journey to help you release a lot of stuff that's been weighing on you, that's been holding you back and affecting your relationships, your health, finances, how you are in the world, and to really help you to just show up in this greater level of consciousness and energy that you truly are, right? And it just really helps you to empower you with being able to develop a much deeper connection to your inner guidance, to your truth, so that you know how to navigate the spiritual journey with so much more ease and grace moving forward, and you're not sitting there wondering like, oh my God, what is the next step? Am I doing the right thing? Can the universe please send me a sign to let me know what I'm supposed to do? Like, through the deep healing that we do together in my program and that whole process, you're going to be able to align more powerfully with your own inner guidance to know like what you're supposed to be doing for you, in your path as you move through this journey, and trusting in that, trusting in yourself. And, we just do so many different things in that program. It's just very profound. So if that's something that speaks to you and you would like my support, I would really encourage you to reach out to me via my social media channels. As I said, that will be in the comments of this video for you to go down there and check and message me. This program does start soon this month, and I would love to have you join me, as this is truly a life-changing experience that will empower you in so many ways that you couldn't even have imagined, and will help you to really burst open your heart more powerfully than you thought possible because of the deep healing work that we do there. So if that speaks to you, reach out to me. I would love to support you. I'll put up here the playlist for you to check out testimonials of past clients and their experience. And that's basically it. I really do appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me. Thank you so much for listening to what I have to say, for being part of my journey. And I'm sending you lots of love, and I'm wishing you all the best as you go through your own journey and process and align with more of who you truly are. Take care. Bye.